Hey guys, Dan North here with Program Pro, and today we're talking about assessments for personal training clients. Now, just like program design, this is one of those topics that we love to overcomplicate as trainers. While there are endless ways to assess your clients based on factors like their age, training history, injury history, and goals, the truth is it doesn't need to be that complicated. You just need a simple system, because a good assessment helps you do two things. First, it helps you write a better program, obviously, because you can't help your clients get from point A to point B if you don't know where they're starting. As Paul Chek said, if you're not assessing, you're guessing. And second, it creates buy-in from your clients. When they see that you're taking the time to actually understand their unique situation, they'll be more invested into the process. And that'll immediately set you apart from the trainer who just throws their client into training with no type of assessment whatsoever. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through a simple step-by-step system you can use to assess your clients, plus more importantly, how to apply that information into their program. This is the exact process I use with my own clients here at my private home gym just outside of Toronto. We'll break it down into 3 key steps so you can start writing better programs right away. Now, before we actually break down how to run an assessment, I just want to quickly cover a few common mistakes that I see a lot of trainers make during the assessment process. And keep in mind, these are mistakes that I was definitely guilty of early on in my career. First is testing for the sake of testing. A lot of trainers actually over-assess with their clients, taking them through arbitrary tests that ultimately don't even really matter. The thing is that if you don't know how to apply the information that you're getting from the assessment, it's essentially just a waste of time. Second is pushing your clients too hard during the assessment. You want them to look forward to coming back to the gym. The assessment is not the time to beat the crap out of them. Third is reminding your clients of past failures. Most of the people who see a trainer have probably tried and failed many times before when it comes to their fitness routine. So when they see you as their trainer, they're looking for a solution. They're not looking to be reminded of how out of shape they are or how crappy their hip mobility is. Instead, I like using the assessment as an opportunity to focus on what they're doing well, help them get some early wins, and build momentum right away. Fourth is acting as a therapist instead of a trainer. Yes, of course, movement quality is important, but your clients didn't sign up for training to lay in a stretch bed or lay on the floor and do a bunch of corrective exercises for 40 minutes. Get them moving and get to training. And finally is doing the assessment for free. The assessment is a paid service that your client does after they sign up for training. It is not a free consultation. It is a service you provide after they have already paid you. Now, everyone has their way of doing assessments. You probably have your way of doing it with your own clients. The truth is, there is no single correct way to do assessments. There are a lot of different approaches out there. What ultimately matters is finding what works for you, helps your clients, and most importantly, gives you all the information that you need to actually apply into their program. I break my assessments down into 3 simple steps. Step 1 is the pre-assessment. First and foremost, your client needs to complete a PAR-Q. This is non-negotiable as it protects both you and your client. I'll send an email a few days before the assessment with a link to the form, and it has to be completed ahead of time. No exceptions. In terms of setup, you can keep it simple. Just Google online PAR-Q form or use a free service like JotForm to store all of your clients' information. Now, step 2 is the actual assessment itself. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of things. Personally, my assessments are 45 minutes. I start by taking my clients through a simple movement screen. This gives me a baseline and basically shows me how they move and which exercises might be best for them early on in their program. I'm certified with functional movement systems and functional range conditioning and borrow principles from both of these systems with some of my own stuff thrown in as well. Depending on the client, I'll usually include an active straight leg raise to check their hamstrings, a bird dog movement to check their core stability and overall coordination, a push-up to assess their relative upper body strength performed either on the floor or barbell incline depending on the client, a deep squat, which shows me ankle, hip, shoulder, and thoracic mobility in one movement. I'll check their single leg balance and stability by having them close their eyes and balance on one leg for about 10 to 20 seconds if they can do it. I'll check their inline split squat. Men will have their feet in line, which means that their feet will both be on the same line, whereas women will have their feet just slightly wider to compensate for their hips. And I'll finish off by checking their shoulder mobility with an overhead reach, a shoulder car or rotation, as well as a wall angel and a reach around. I'm not coaching or cueing them during the screen because I want to see how they move naturally at first. With their permission, I might take a video of certain movements so we could use it to gauge progress over time. And whenever possible, I like to take notes after the session so I can stay fully present with the client during their assessment. But if anything important stands out, I'll quickly jot it down in my notepad and then transfer it to their online platform where I store all of their information and programming after the assessment. This all might seem like a lot, but I can get this entire screen done in under 5 minutes. A lot of that comes down to experience and practice. The more screens you do, the more efficient you'll be with your time. After we've done a movement screen, I'll take them through a quick full body warm up. I don't warm them up before the movement screen because, as with the lack of coaching cues, I want to see how they move naturally first. Then I'll tailor the warm up based on what I saw during the movement screen. For example, if I saw that they had limited range of motion in their squat, we might emphasize more hip mobility during the warm up. If they struggled with the bird dog or overall balance, I might add in a core stability exercise during the warm up. The warm up usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Next, I'll take them through a few reps of the main movement patterns. And that includes a squat, hinge, push, and pull. Now, you obviously want to always consider your client's age, training history, injury history, and goals when choosing which exercises you'll have them perform, especially during their assessment, because this is usually the first time that they'll be training with you. Personally, I like to underestimate their ability at first and go from there, just to make sure that we're not biting off more than we could chew initially. Typically, depending on the client, the squat will be a goblet squat to box, a squat to box with a counterbalance, or a goblet split squat. The hinge will be a kettlebell deadlift, kettlebell block pull, or single leg deadlift with the reach. The push will be either full push-ups from the floor or barbell incline push-ups. And finally, the pull will be a TRX row or cable single arm row. I'll demo each movement, then have them perform 5 to 10 reps while I coach technique and cue where they should be feeling it. What this really does is it gives me a clear starting point for progressions and regressions, and it helps them get comfortable with the basics. Again, this part of the assessment only takes about 5 minutes. From there, I'll put it together into a short, simple workout with 2 blocks, block A and B. Block A will usually include a knee dominant and upper body pull movement like split squats and TRX rows. And block B, I'll usually include a hip dominant and upper body push movement. Could be something as simple as kettlebell deadlifts or push-ups or dumbbell presses. Usually for about 2 sets of 8 to 10 reps each block. The goal here is not to crush your clients. It's to show them what training will look like, build their confidence, and create a positive experience so they actually look forward to coming back to the gym to train with you. I like to keep the weights light here, prioritize perfect technique, and emphasize what my client is doing really well. The mini workout portion of the assessment usually takes about 15 minutes to complete. After that, we'll cool down for about 5 minutes and do a few simple stretches. This is where I'll often chat with my clients, get to know them on a personal level, and maybe give them some tips on recovery and simple habits that they can do outside of the gym between sessions to get the most out of their training. Now, for some clients, I might include more specific tests based on their goals. First is resting heart rate, which basically applies to everyone. What I'll usually get my clients to do is count their heartbeat for 60 seconds first thing in the morning before they eat or drink anything. I usually like to have them do that the morning of the assessment before they come in. What that does is it helps me personalize their conditioning instead of guessing work to rest ratios. Now, a more formal fitness test that I might have my clients do occasionally is a 60-second sprint on the assault bike. I'll have them go on the assault bike and pedal as hard as they can for 60 seconds, tracking their max power output, their max heart rate immediately afterwards, calories burned, distance covered, and their recovery time. Occasionally, I might have my clients do a DEXA scan if they're looking for more objective body composition data. Some of your clients will want to see numbers and they want that data to track their progress along the way. Other clients probably couldn't care less. So it's important to match your testing to your client's personality and your goals. If my clients are doing a DEXA scan, we'll do it initially at the beginning of the program, and I'll have them retest every 3 to 6 months to compare. And just a quick note, when I first started training, I used to test everything. I thought that's what trainers should do. I've tested my clients' 1-rep maxes, how long they could hold planks, how many push-ups they can do. I thought that you had to collect as much data as possible and store it and use it to track progress with your clients. And what I realized eventually is that you don't need formal testing or assessments with your clients. A lot of people, they just want to move and feel better. They don't need a formal test day. So instead of testing performance in isolation, I use training itself as the assessment. Step 3 is the post-assessment. Now that you've gone through the assessment, the most important part is actually applying what you found. After the session, I'll take notes on a few key areas that will help guide my client's program moving forward. Number 1 is what I call the big rock. What's the low-hanging fruit that's going to make the biggest impact right away in your client's success? For example, for a desk worker, that might mean hip mobility and thoracic mobility in their program. Your big rock should be addressed early and prioritized consistently. Second is the client's starting point. Where do they actually need to start in their program? This can apply to exercise variations along your progression or regression model, or how heavy they should be starting in terms of weighted exercises. The key is to start easier than you think and build from there. The third note that you can take is your priority movements. What key movement patterns are you going to prioritize earlier in their program? Usually I like picking one upper body and one lower body movement to prioritize. These become the backbone of your program. Fourth area you want to take note on is your client's limitations. What's currently holding them back right now? I'll use this to guide the warm-up and any fillers between sets, so we're addressing limitations without adding extra time. And finally, the fifth area I take note of after my client's assessment is homework. What simple daily habits can they be doing outside of the gym between sessions to get the most out of their training? This might be a daily step count, simple mobility drills, or prioritizing their sleep and nutrition. The goal of the post-assessment is simple. Take what you observed and turn it into clear, practical decisions for your program. I hope this helped. If you want a free 12-week plug-and-play program template you can use with your own clients, I'll leave a link in the description. And if you want to see my full step-by-step process to design programs for any type of personal training client, I'll also leave a link for that video as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I read all of them and I'm more than happy to help. And if you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to the channel for new videos on training and program design every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.